Hey you guys, welcome back and I hope you guys are doing great. So today we are back for another extra video. So today's review is about the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about this. This does not need any introduction, but I purchased this a few months ago and now I feel like I have proper thoughts about it, so I thought I would share it with you guys. This is available online and offline. This currently retails for 695 rupees and it contains 20 grams of product. I checked around with a few different powders and it seems like this is probably one of the most affordable ones when you consider the quantity for the price that you're paying. 20 grams, I don't think any other powder offers 20 grams of product. The K-Beauty one has 10 grams, I believe. The Sugar one has 10 grams and the Sugar Transparent one has even less. So I'm pretty sure this is the best deal you can get in terms of the price that you're paying. The shade that I have is 25 medium and that is what mainly I am making this video for, and that is the shade that I have a lot of thoughts for. So there are thoughts that I have about the formula of this powder and then there are thoughts that I have about the color of this powder. So yeah, let's get into the details. It comes in this sort of packaging. You have to just twist around and then drop some product in the lid. I'm assuming that's how most people do it. It also comes with this flap. I've only removed 40% of what the flap covers and I think that's enough. Anything more than that would lead to a lot of powder in this can and you really don't need that much powder as you would imagine. And sometimes even if there is some powder left in this, I can just pour it back down and then use it later on. I don't find it to be that big of an hassle. Next, come on to the shade range. Oh my god, most people probably have an idea of what I'm gonna think. There are 4 shades available. I think they launched this powder with 4 shades in India and they have not expanded ever since, even though I think this is probably one of their best selling products that they have available in India. And the shade range, so there is light, then there is the second shade, this is the third deepest shade, and then there is one which is significantly darker than the other 3, so it's not that dark, but when you compare it to the rest of the ones that they have available, that one is pretty dark, so maybe the deeper skin tones can make use of it, which is great. My issue is this one that I have right here. The color is fine actually, but when you look at the undertone, it's pink. It's not even neutral, it's straight up pink. I wouldn't have an issue with that if this was not the only shade available for the people who are close to my skin tone. I think I was talking about this product in one of my videos and someone did mention that the undertone is really off, it's a waste of money, but my dumb brain decided to go with it, and honestly I wish I did not, because if I'm gonna pick a complexion product, I want the undertone to be correct, because if there is anything that I have learned in the past few years, it's that undertones can really mess up your makeup game, and that's exactly what happens with this. You might feel like, especially in the demo section, you might feel like the pink undertone doesn't really show through, but once you start applying it, not just underneath your eyes but in your T-zone and all, it does show through, especially when your foundation is so yellow and you counteract that with a pink toned powder. It looks awful. So if you're thinking that even if the undertone is wrong, let me go for this, my suggestion is don't. I thought I would be able to make it work. I'm not. If you're around my skin tone, this is not the powder you should be going for. Go for something else. If you have any suggestion for which powder you like, not necessarily a loose powder, any setting powder, that would be very much appreciated. My Wet n Wild, the contour palette, this one, it's not in stock anywhere, but that powder is probably the best powder I've ever used underneath my eyes. It's a banana powder, but it looks so good. It's thin enough, it sets down your makeup, just absolutely amazing. This on the other hand sets down my makeup and looks good when it comes to how your under eyes look, but when you start talking about the color and undertone, this is not the winner anymore. So yeah, the shade range is pretty damn bad. I wish they expand on it. Let's talk about the formula specifically and not the color. The formula, it's absolutely beautiful. So it's still not my favorite formula ever, but this comes second. The first one is the Wet n Wild one. There is just no competition for that. I remember when I first applied it, I think it was on camera, and I actually said, wow, this actually blurs out my under eyes. It sets them down properly. The coverage is medium. Sometimes if I don't have a lot of coverage underneath my eyes, so no concealer, no foundation, I can apply this and I can still see the coverage. It's not light or it's not translucent. It's not that high either, but it's definitely medium coverage. And I also like the fact that even though it looks really good, it blurs everything out, it also does not look that heavy on your under eyes. Coming on to does this crease, it really depends on your concealer. I feel like the powder is pretty good and does the job of setting your under eye concealer, but if your concealer is something that creases a lot, don't depend on this one. This isn't gonna help in that case. If your concealer is good and if this pairs well with it, it's a really good combo and it wouldn't be creasing. But if your concealer is not that, this is not gonna help in that aspect. I feel like this is also made for all skin types almost. Oily skin will probably love this. Dry skin people will also like this. I did not find this to be extremely drying. When I look at my under eyes, I don't find that it's really drying. It's almost similar to every other powder that I've tried. So yeah, moisturize well. I'm sure you'll be able to work with this. Also, the staying power is good. So one thing that made me realize that the staying power is good, that when I came back home, I still had the powder. Significantly, the pink undertone was showing, which made me realize that this powder is also really long lasting. So yes, staying power is not going to be an issue with this. Now let's go through some claims, not claims exactly, but features that I found off of Manique. It's silky, lightweight, loose finishing powder. I feel like this is indeed silky, lightweight, loose finishing powder. I will say though, I have tried powders that are little more lightweight than this, but this doesn't feel heavy. As long as it looks good, I feel like everything is fine. So I will agree with the first point that they have mentioned. Next is mineral based powder for every skin tone. Are we sure about that, Maybelline? The third one is controls shine and smoothens skin texture. I will agree to the smoothing skin texture. Control shine, it does a pretty good job of doing that as well. So yes, the formulation is a big pro. There are also a few things that are written at the back, so I'm just gonna see if there is anything new. One of them is fresh and natural look. I guess if you're just using the powder, I'm not sure how natural look and powders go hand in hand, but it definitely does not look powdery if that's something that concerns you. Oh, they do say that it can be used alone or over foundation, which I agree. The formulation is such that it gives enough coverage but also pairs with the foundation or a concealer. So yeah. Also, this is manufactured in Canada, which is new because most Maybelline products that I personally own are manufactured in China. So I'm pretty sure the people who have issue with that would not have issue with this particular product. You can definitely go ahead and make your purchase. Coming on to if the brand has any issues. Maybelline, one of their main advertising points is how they cover every single skin tone. So the Fit Me range, this is also Fit Me, but the Fit Me foundation range, they go on and on about how they are covering so many different skin tones, and that's honestly good because I feel like a lot of brands have seen that and followed them. But then they have products like this where the shade range isn't actually that good. So where does that we are covering all Indian skin tones go when it comes to different products? It's not that everyone's gonna go for Fit Me and you need something to set your foundation with. What am I gonna do then? And they do have the compact powder, which is, I feel like it's a good product. It's not my favorite, it's not something bad, but this I feel like has so much potential, but because the undertone is so bad, I don't feel like I'm gonna repurchase this after this unless they bring more shades. Obviously the powder was really good, the experience was really good, it doesn't really look good on me. So yeah, that's all I have to mention about this particular product. Let's insert the demo and then we'll talk about the pros and cons. Okay, so let's start with the pros. Pro number one is the availability. Very widely available. Second is the packaging. It's actually pretty good. I don't think I've ever faced an issue but I've been annoyed by the packaging, which it's a pretty big deal when you consider my opinion about different packagings. There's a lot on the market that pisses me off, and this is not something that offends me. So yeah, it's a pro in my books. The third one is good value considering it's a loose powder. Comparing it to the other well-known brands that are available in India, this is actually pretty damn good when it comes to the value that you're paying for. Fourth is the formula. I really did enjoy the formula a lot. I so wish this was not the undertone that this is, because this would have been probably one of my favorite powders ever. Again, I have an absolute favorite powder that I really like, but this comes really close to that. So yeah, the formula is pretty damn good. And the fifth one is the staying power. As I mentioned, the pink undertone was visible even hours after I wore this, which tells me that the powder was on my face hours after I've been out of my house. Would definitely recommend if you're looking for something that lasts for a decent amount of time. And the sixth one is, I guess you can look at it as a pro. For me, I'm neutral about this fact, but I do like the fact that this has some sort of coverage. If it did not, it probably would have been easy for the undertone to not shine through, but because it has significant amount of coverage, it does show through. If this was a yellow tone powder, I would have loved that, but because it's not, I'm kind of on the fence about it. Let's move to the cons now. Con number one, the awful shade range that Maybelline has. Despite being an advocate for different skin tones and covering a lot of skin tones when it comes to makeup, number of shades, awful, absolutely awful. And the second is something related to the same thing. Undertone of this particular shade that I have, it's just bad. I do not understand why a medium skin tone product needs to be pink undertone. I'm not saying these people don't exist, but if you had to choose, this is not the first thing that you should be going for, right? It doesn't really make sense. So 2 cons. Despite the pros being really heavy, I feel like I would not personally be repurchasing this product. I just want something that actually works really well on my under eyes. It does work, but the undertone is way too off for me to be able to work around it. If you are able to find your shade in this, which there is not a lot of choice, but if you are able to, I feel like you should go for this product. And if you cannot, then please suggest me what you're using right now, something that is actually worth my money. I do not like shimmer or anything. I'm fine with a powder that does not have a lot of coverage, but it at least needs to look decent. If there is something that's anywhere close to the Wet n Wild Contour Palette banana powder, let me know. And that completes this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. Please leave down your suggestions. It will be really helpful. And that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this extra sort of a video, and I will see you on Sunday, hopefully, if I'm able to edit my video in time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.